episode of Market Buzz. Today is a green and beautiful day. Let's see if that continues as markets digest the data that we got yesterday and the one that we're about to get in a minute. We are getting non-farm payrolls and unemployment data, and this is going to be a super interesting day to be paying attention. Yesterday was a great day to be an investor. For those who watched it live, thank you so much for paying attention to that. But yeah, NVIDIA beat market expectations. It was fantastic. The NASDAQ, the S&P, Bitcoin, everything is risk on, right? The question will be, will that continue or will that hold after today? We are getting the September data. So this is old data, but again, it will have an effect given that it's like the first government data that we're finally getting from the government about employment. And it's going to be interesting. I want the markets not to panic. So I want everything to come in within expectations. Nothing too crazy to the upside or the downside. Just give me a blank statement, and I think we go bullish from here. But I guess we're going to find out in about 15 seconds. I'm going to share. Yes, it's going to be crazy.
Exciting
10
times.
seconds.
Exciting times.
Expected is 51K and non-farm payrolls, and the unemployment rate is expected to come in at 4.3%. Data comes out now. Let's have a look. Oh, my God. Toby's going to be upset at this. 119K jobs data comes in way better than expected. This is kind of crazy because it's that double-edged sword, right? Because it's like, oh, wait a second. Unemployment rate comes in at 4.4, but non-farm payrolls is actually higher. This is crazy. This is weird, right? Now, well, is that because of the government data? This is weird. Okay. Market's not moving on this, which is, I guess, within line.
Give it a bit.
I guess we're going to have to see what happens as we talk.
Yeah.
All right. Welcome, everybody, to another episode of Market Buzz. I'm here with Mimi, Dimitris, and Timothy. We're all popular investors on Etoro, so make sure to check out our portfolios. Whatever we say is not financial advice. We do what we like and what we think is the right call. Make sure you do your own diligence. And if you'd like to copy us, the link's down below. And make sure to check out Timothy's free course on altcoins. Free of charge for all Market Buzz members. All right. Man, okay, wait a second. Okay.
I think markets are, well, I'm only looking at Bitcoin at the moment. I think crypto's liking this. I think this is good. I think it's that good middle.
I think this is good data. I think this comes the market. Everybody got a little bit of what they wanted. Unemployment rate is up, so Toby should be happy. Right? On a non-farm payrolls is stronger than expected, so we're actually starting to pick up jobs, so this is maybe temporary. We are seeing U.S. average earnings actually down. This is very mixed data. Very mixed data, but the market seems to like it. What's Bitcoin doing?
Bitcoin is not falling is the most important
Which
thing.
is great. Right now, that's profit.
That's the best we can ask for right now. But actually, it is starting to move. But I guess what that essentially is telling, and you guys correct me if I'm wrong, is that we're more chance of getting a rate cut, but the economy is also fine. Correct me if I'm wrong.
Sort of. Yes. Like based on the results, yes. I would love to hear what Dimitris has to say, but I think that's.
Give us the numbers one more time.
So
what was estimated and what's the actual number?
So, all right. So non-farm payrolls was expected to come in at 51K.
Yes.
It came in at 119K.
Yes.
Okay. Unemployment rate was expected to come at 4.3%, and it came in at 4.4%.
That's the September. Right? That's the
September data. Remember, this is all the September data. So this is old data. Okay. Obviously, the Fed didn't have this data, so apparently the market is still pricing in the fact that we're not going to get a cut in December.
Okay, so what the data is saying, because this is September, not October, which we're going to get them. We're not going to get them, but we're assuming that the situation did not get any better in October. So that puts the Fed cut back into play for December. I mean,
I think it was never
up to do. What are they going to do? They're going to hold as they watch unemployment going up. I mean, what are we talking about here? Okay, so they are going to cut. The market is kind of like it because we're getting some unemployment that will make the Fed cut, but the economy is not falling apart just yet, right? unless we get a surprise next month and we go to 5%, which is like
Yeah.
Armageddon. Nothing matters, no earnings. It's a shit show, which was my fear when I told you in private, Nestor, like 3 weeks back. That would be the worst case scenario. But yeah, so far so good. And I don't see why the market would not like this. But the market is going to be on edge until we get the next piece of data,
Well, which
right?
is December 16th, right? So
Yes.
for unemployment, it's December 16th. I still don't know what inflation data will come next. I think we have PPI data coming in on Friday.
So we're going to take it week by week until the FOMC and the next big piece of data. And then when everything comes under control, nothing falls apart, then we get like spectacular. Like
End
like
the year.
this kind of rally, like the last 2 weeks, we make money.
For sure.
That's the way it's set up. But again, my fear is the labor market not to fall apart. And by definition, when the labor market falls apart, then the economy, and then we go
Yeah.
into a shit show.
No, the thing, one of the things I'm sort of like, and this is kind of a play on sentiment, is the fact that we're just getting sort of like now we are starting to get the data, right? So we're starting to get a little bit of clarity, even though it's not perfect, it's clarity, it's certainty, it's a little bit in the right direction. The economy is not falling apart. We're not gonna see the AI bubble continues to bubble, if we want to call it that, right? Because it's like Nvidia will continue to sell, and they're expecting massive sell speeds, and we're seeing the sales beats from the last earnings, which is all data. Don't get me wrong; this can drastically change, but slowly we can see. We have Adrian in the house. Yo, yes.
What's
Hello.
up, guys?
So yes, we're gonna be talking a little bit about crypto markets in a bit. Adrian, did you see the data that we got?
I was trying to log in.
All right, so okay,
not
I'll
yet.
walk you through the results real quick because it's weird. It's weird. So this September data, non-farm payrolls came in at 119K, expected 51, and unemployment rate came in at 4.4 instead of the 4.3 expected. Weird.
So more
right?
is that more participation rather than less
Well,
jobs?
people like there is more unemployment where we are seeing people find jobs, right? Because we were sort of like almost at zero. So people are starting to find jobs and they're starting to move through the economy, which is a good thing. But also we are seeing a spike in the amount of people that don't have any jobs, right? US initial jobless claims came in lower than expected. Average earnings, it's actually, okay. Average earnings is actually a little bit higher than expected. So yeah,
So
crazy data. Just
that
to put it in the model.
that data essentially would mean more chance of a rate cut, which is what everybody is focused on at the moment as well. Not the only thing everyone's focused on, but I'm guessing that the chances would tick up now of a rate cut in December slightly.
Well, actually, that's what I'm waiting on the Fed watch tool to update at the right time frame. But I think they said it wasn't affecting the data, like it wasn't affecting the rate. So we're still potentially getting it skipped on December. Because the thing is the next set of data comes in December 16th and the next meeting is December 10th. So that creates a little bit of uncertainty. But yes, we have Adrian here to talk about a little bit about crypto markets, just to get an idea of how the whole sector is feeling. Timothy, what are your thoughts on this?
Well, I'm surprised Adrian joined because last time we spoke, we had a few lines we were discussing, like this line, if this breaks, this is gonna happen. This line, if this breaks, this is gonna happen. And actually, all the lines broke that we discussed. So now it's time to re-evaluate and actually see what we think. It's going to be a very interesting discussion since the last emergency stream we did. Because I remember we were saying like the 50-week moving average and 100K level is a important level to break. So I think we all agree that this level was very important for Bitcoin to hold. Now it's broken below it. It has closed below the 50-week moving average. Let me put it on the chart so you can see. It's the blue line, which should be seen on the weekly time frame. sitting around 102,700. So I would say there is still a chance we resume the bull market. Correct me if I'm wrong, but then we need to really close quickly again above the 50-week moving average so we can resume the bull market. There's still a lot of resistance above this level, but I think that's like the most important level everyone is watching, altogether with just 100K. So, in my opinion, the probabilities have a bit shifted. So, I am more cautious than I was just a few weeks ago. I'm more in defense mode, meaning I'm taking trades. I actually took some trades yesterday on Bitcoin and Ethereum, but I'm gonna take profits more early, just to lock in gains in case this is just gonna be a lower high and resume down again. So those are really my quick thoughts on how I see Bitcoin, referring to the last stream we had with Adrian.
Adrian, thoughts on this? Because I know you've been sort of like I've been in your chat and you've been sort of calling the sort of breakdown of I think you got out of alts just before too.
I'm online. I actually got all out of alts except for ETH back in late September. I think right before we did our last stream, that emergency live stream, I was mostly out of all alts, thankfully. But yeah, I agree with Timothy on his view of the market. I think a lot of people were waiting for that 50-week close, and then a lot of people are still waiting for a second close below the 50-week MA. My base case at this point is that we have peaked, that we peaked in October, and what we're seeing now is the slow decline over the next essentially year into a bear market with a bottom next year, probably second half of next year. I mean, there's always a possibility, right, that we come back and close above 103K. There's just so many resistance levels, 94K, 97K, 100K. That's a lot to get through. And really, we haven't seen any sort of sustained rally over the past 2 weeks at all. So I have been de-risking. I have been even selling Bitcoin, waiting for a lower low. Now, can we see a rally? Of course. I think we are due for a rally. I think that 88 to 92K, that's a really good range of support for Bitcoin. And I think depending on how the equities market wake up today, we might see that. Green. Yeah, we might see that being the 88K level be essentially the local bottom, and potentially see a rally into December. Call it whatever you want, maybe Santa Claus rally. But eventually it will form a lower high, and that's where I'm going to exit more of my Bitcoin positions at those levels, the 100K right before we hit that 107, and then potentially if we get to, let's say, 116K, that's another level of resistance. I will essentially be out completely of Bitcoin in preparation for further decline. That doesn't include kind of my long-term hold, never sell Bitcoin, but from a shorter time frame perspective, that's where I'm seeing the market.
So let me put in something into perspective, okay? Because the thing is like, so this is at least my analysis. This is what we've been talking about for like at least the past couple of weeks. We try to figure out what is going on with the markets, right? Like there's just like, it doesn't feel like there's any buyer in the market, right? We've just had the government shutdown. We've had like sort of the AI story start to collapse, and everybody, okay, we're maybe so overvalued. Every stock is to the moon already. There's no money to be made. Hedge funds are actually not beating. I think Tom Lee talks about 75% of hedge fund managers are not beating the S&P 500. We have had the most exits from hedge fund money and big money like in the last month. So the question for me here is kind of like, and I would love to get perspective here, because it's like, So it's like we've just had so much sort of like negative sentiment coming into this. Everybody was like we're still expecting a December rally, right? But it's like everything just started falling. It was like, okay, maybe liquidity crisis. So the wall of worry started just like we started climbing the wall of worry. And it feels that at least with the Nvidia earnings, we're coming off of that. Right. So it's like I started placing positions on Bitcoin and Ethereum as it was coming down because it just feels that like even for the even government contracts, right? I think 45% of GDP is government spending, right? So if you have the government shutdown, that's just money that's not getting. And all of a sudden we are getting now that back for a month is stimulus, right? It's going to act like that. We're going to get the end of QT in December 1st. So there's going to be more liquidity. There's going to be more money start sort of like be in the economy. At least we're not vacuuming money out of the economy. What are the takes here? Mimi, I see you nodding. So give me your thoughts on this.
Okay. I have so much to say, but I'm just going to try and keep it brief. I do see both sides, bearish and bullish, and I understand where Adrian and Timothy are coming from. Obviously, from my perspective, like I see it through a different lens. I've always been like very much more focused on fundamentals and psychology, but I've been diving into the technical analysis world. I totally get it. I totally see it. For me, yes. And I know you guys just mentioned it as well, that the bearish scenario hasn't been confirmed just yet, because from a technical perspective, everyone is waiting for that second 50-week moving average close. However, there are some things to take into consideration. And one other thing, element that analysts are speaking about is the ISM manufacturing cycle. So that has been in contraction. It hasn't been expanding. So there's the question of where is retail? Where on earth has retail been this entire cycle? They have no money. And you can see that in the ISM, like there has been no demand. It has been flat. And if you look at that compared to 2019, it kind of is very similar as well. It also is in line with the fact that QT was happening at the time. So yes, as Nesta mentioned, QT is yet to end. Yes, liquidity isn't going to flow in overnight, but this time it feels different. Not because I want okay. However, it has been different, and we need to be realistic of the fact that everything has been different. And so I'm trying to meet in the middle somewhere. I'm trying to integrate the analyses from both worlds. And my view, regardless of whether Bitcoin, I think Bitcoin will still rally, regardless of whether it will print a lower high or a new all-time high, doesn't actually matter too much to me, because at the end of the day, it's all about Bitcoin dominance and stablecoin dominance. And that is where liquidity will rotate into Ethereum and alts. I still see Ethereum printing another all-time high this cycle. It's just a matter of when, and it's just a matter of how long does this cycle go. I don't want to be in the camp of this cycle is going to be longer. But if you look at the ISM and how it's correlated with, coincidentally, with the 4-year crypto cycle. So everyone is like every 4 years, yes, there's going to be a bull cycle. Therefore, the cycle in terms of time frame is broken now. But if you look at the ISM, it's done nothing. It's been just flat. And so in that case, it makes kind of sense that retail's not flooding in. There's no liquidity. We need QE. We need rate cuts. All of that to me. And also right now, the sentiment is awful. Like people are just like tearing each other down on X, on all social media. I've never seen it this bad. Even FTX time, during FTX crash, the fear index was not this low for this long. I think we've been in extreme fear for almost a week now. And I mean, I'm absolutely disgusted with how people are treating each other. But that's another story and that's another episode. But I think based on all of that, I think we still see another leg up, and we still see some form of an alt season. We see at least Ethereum print another all-time high. That is where I'm at.
Like definitely, because we definitely got the October 10th shakeout, right? Like that was big money coming into sort of Bitcoin and being like, okay, do you guys want to play with the big boys? Let's play with the big boys. Let's start with a little bit of capital and let's move markets, right? And we saw that. We saw biggest liquidation event in Bitcoin. Like it showed the weaknesses in the market structure, all of that stuff, right? But that scares a lot of people, right? Like when you see Bitcoin, because it's like it's still a 30% drop, right? You have your life savings in Bitcoin, Ethereum, all of this, and you see it come down 30-40%. It's scary. right? So it's like it's still like a major move, but like I'm still like I like Bitcoin at this levels more than at 120. You know, so it's like I'm more like if the narrative has not changed, which is like okay, like we still have this the US dollar debasement story. We have the narratives, which is like governments are starting to buy and hold Bitcoin, which is massive players coming into the picture. I just don't see the demand stopping. We're like short term, yes, but long term, I don't see it. Even the big companies starting to buy Ethereum, and we're starting to see the development. The developers on Ethereum are still like, I think it's the most used network so far. So I like the Ethereum trade too. So I've been increasing my position both on Bitcoin and Ethereum.
I mean, yeah.
You know?
I mean, I'd like to get Dimitri's opinion on that.
Yeah, because I know Dimitri's right now, he's like safety.
Yeah.
So.
Okay, so about Bitcoin, and I'm not a technical guy, as you guys know, but I'm trying to think about it a bit rationally. And you have to understand the context of what we're dealing with and why Bitcoin is behaving the way it's behaving. Okay, so imagine you have the government shutdown, the longest in history. Then you have the AI bubble that everyone in their mother go on TV and they say it's a bubble. It's a bubble. Nvidia is not gonna beat. Then you have Trump and China going back and forth. The Fed is not giving us another cut. I mean, what do you expect Bitcoin to do? It's a risk asset. It's the riskiest of the risk assets. Okay, what do you want to go to 150 while we're dealing with all this? No, even safety, even Walmart, even like the defensive did not do well because too many things are going on, and it wasn't exactly panic with the lack of data because we is like walking in the dark, and you don't want to bump your toe on the sofa. But that's how the market behaved. Now, if this collapse from Bitcoin happened at a time that we weren't dealing with all this, I would say, you know what? Okay, maybe let's just call it a bull market, and maybe it's a bear market. I will be okay with it. But because so many things are happening at the same time, okay, I'm with Mimi. I think they has like a leg high still. I wouldn't go as far as Tom Lee to 250 or whatever his target is, but 130, 140, I wouldn't be surprised if that's the case.
Here, let me put this question out there, and whoever wants to take it, I take my hat off to you. But it's the question is okay. Let's say worst case scenario. What's your target price to buy Bitcoin at? Right, like if everything works in your favor and you could get Bitcoin at X price, what's that price? And then what's the price that you see it at by the end of the year? So it's like I want those two. It's like if it comes down when you buy, and if it goes up when you sell it.
Are you talking in the next 6 weeks until the
like I'm talking maybe end of year or potentially 2026, whatever you want to touch on. I got, you know, it's the shorter is the hardest, but
I mean,
you get the most points if you get it right. You know what I mean?
I'm going to attempt to do this because I'm going to be talking nonsense. So I'm going to let me pick for my spot.
Okay. Let me. So just to rephrase, like clarify your question, where do I see Bitcoin heading, and what price do I want to buy it in next?
Like let's say okay, market collapses, right?
What's
the price that you're just like, you know what? Let's go.
Oh, like okay, between now and 60,000, 70,000, 70,000, 75,000, 75,000. I'm all in. Any lower, that's just amazing. 75,000, I'm all in.
Adrian, tell me, because you have your hand up. I think that's the.
I have a couple of thoughts. I think we need to define some terms as we talk about this. But I think to answer your question directly, for me, it's around the 60 to 70,000. That to me is kind of like a bottom. Now we might overshoot it, similar to what we did in the last cycle, where I thought it was 20,000 and then we overshot it down to 15. But I think 60 to 70,000 is a range where I will be a buyer again.
Timothy, what about you?
Yeah,
I'm a buyer now. It's 30%. You know what I mean? Like I like it. I'm down to go down.
Hey, don't get me wrong. I'm a buyer too. I'm in some long future trades, right? But those are trades. I'm not buying spot to hold long.
I bought spot. I bought at 90,000.
I bought at 90, 85. Like, well, no, we didn't know. I bought a 95.90. So yeah. Okay, Timothy, what's your number?
My number, in terms of percentage drawdown from the highs, would be like 50%. And yeah, that gives me around 62K. Because I don't think we're gonna have a 70% drawdown like the past cycle, because we didn't have such an euphoric phase. So I assume the drawdown is gonna be much less compared to the other cycles. But I'm also watching like what is the time frame where we're gonna see a low. So I think if you follow the 4-year cycle, which in theory it has done so far, you can expect a low to be formed somewhere by the end of 26 in October, November. So if we by then are, let's say, 70K, then definitely I will be buying at 70K. But imagine we're 60K and still in the middle of yeah the bear market March, let's say, then I would still hold and wait until at least May before starting to accumulate. So right now, I would say 62K.
Okay.
QT ends next week, by the way.
Right? So it's
Just-
like
Just a reminder.
like we're just gonna like I just don't see, like, okay, like maybe we're seeing some issues in the private credit, right? Okay, we're starting to see sort of the cockroaches pop out. Okay, it's okay.
I
Also,
think a lot of it is, last year we had kind of the Trump win, everything's pro crypto, and we had a huge inflow of money, institutional money, and so on. A lot of that money, they're not as excited to be in crypto. I agree 100% on the retail side. It's just not there. Retail is struggling, so they don't have as much money to put into crypto. But the same thing goes for institutions, hedge funds, right? Now the shiny toy is AI tech, right? And that's what it's been for the past year, and that's okay. Just to kind of close out my thoughts on the Bitcoin market and where I think we're going in crypto. I do think we get a bounce, before the end of the year, a good strong rally, potentially going above 100K. I think that rally, it's going to confuse a lot of people. A lot of people are going to go back into the market and say, hey, bull market's back on. And then it just going to come back down. I think alts could run during that time. It is possible that even if Bitcoin doesn't put in any all-time, that Ethereum or other alts put in an all-time high, people thinking that, okay, now it's alt season, it's going back, and it reverses shortly after that. Now, for me, a bear market looks like we have peaked in 2025. We won't be putting in any all-time highs in 2026, Bitcoin that is. And we're going to have a short-lived, not as severe bear market that could end, as early as June, July of next year. Some people might say, well, that's part of the same cycle. Some people might say that wasn't a bear market, that was just a pullback. That's why we have to define what do we mean. But for me, that's kind of my outlook I see for next year.
Can I ask Andrea one question? Can you please give me your targets? What would confirm your bear case, and what would change your mind that we might be in the bull, still in the bull cycle? Like, what's the number that if Bitcoin goes, you would say, you know what? Okay, maybe we're going up, or the other way. If the number confirms, you say, okay, we're definitely in the bear market.
By the way, just to intervene real quick, Timothy, if you need to leave, let me know.
Just hang up. No, I'm joking.
If we get another close, if we go above all-time high, I will become a buyer on the retest of that all-time high. Because I don't think we're gonna get another, marginal all-time high and then reverse back. In my opinion, right now I'm like 95% sure we are in a bear market. We have closed below the 50-week MA. We had weekly closes below Bollinger Bands since like 2018. There's a lot of signals that are telling me, hey, this is the first time we have seen all these signals trigger in this bull market. It's not a sure thing. Nobody has a crystal ball. Nobody knows exactly what's going to happen. But to me, it's more likely than not that we are in a bear market. And by the time you wait to fully confirm that we are in fact in a bear market, it might be too late. to really get out and take profits, right? It might be at 80,000, 75,000. And at that point, you might as well just stay in, right?
Yeah. Okay.
So if it goes up, take some profits off the table. Is what we're saying. I think we're all sort of in the same boat. Mimi.
Yeah, I definitely see that scenario and that view as well. I do understand that. There's the other. I do also see that when everybody's waiting for that relief bounce, everyone's waiting for Bitcoin to go back to 108,000 because that was like really key resistance, 108, 110, whatever you call it. There's another theory, because I think about this every day, right? Because I have nothing better to do. And I think, wait, what are people going to do? When it bounces to 108,000, everyone's going to sell because everyone says, that's why I'm going to sell. I'm getting out. I got PTSD. Even it has crossed my mind too. But what if it does that? And then most people get out, they sell, then it just shoots up again. And it just catches everyone by surprise because the crypto market tends to do that. And yeah, again, like I'm always thinking bigger picture. I'm thinking about where is crypto and AI? And when I say crypto and AI, I think they go hand in hand. People are like, yep, crypto is no longer a shiny thing. You have AI, you have crypto because it's still technology. It's the future. But in terms of that scenario, there's a case where I feel, not that it's really going to change what I'm going to do about this, I don't know yet, but I do feel that people will wait for that. They're going to get out and then it shoots through. But hey, that's just another theory.
I'm not like this felt like a shakeout. It was like there was no liquidity in the market, and like the market moves like I in my gut, it feels like a shakeout. It feels like right now you're trying to get the weekends off, and it's like the people that bought at 120, people like the new people in the markets are freaking out. And like I know when you guys see strength, you're gonna jump in. It's like because I freaking know so. But the thing is like right now for me at least, it was like the same shakeout with the AI story. Like I've been following AI like for the past like 3 years, right? And like the story's always been like we're looking to sell. And now that we're sitting at all-time highs, the market is really like, we are really looking to sell. Timothy, sorry, I caught you. But yeah.
No, I just understand Mimi's standpoint. From my point of view, I would say that I'm okay with losing like 10% of the pump just to avoid the 20% dump, So imagine Bitcoin just continues to plummet. I'm okay to take a hit and cut some positions because I don't want it to impact my portfolio so much. And on the other side, when it moves to the upside, I'm okay to miss a part of the move because I'm selling, as Adrian said, around that 100, then 107, then 116, 17K range in layers. If then the price moves into all-time high region, then yes, that's a buy signal, and it's okay to just buy at all-time highs if you plan to sell even higher. So that's always with a plan in mind, that I try to protect the portfolio the best that I can based on the probabilities that represent themselves. And right now, with all the damage that has been done to the technical analysis, I think in my view that at least a bit of caution is warranted. So that's the reason I say I'm gonna let Bitcoin run a bit and see what it does. But I assume that every move is gonna be a lower high. So every move I see, every pump I see, I'm gonna assume, okay, that's the next lower high, I'm gonna take some off. Okay, that's the next lower high, I'm gonna take some off, until we get at those higher levels. But there's a lot of work to do. So it's fine.
No, like this is a very important comment, right? Like leverage positions, like the fact that there's so much leverage in crypto is what creates that volatility and that uncertainty and that sort of like crazy rallies. Because the thing is that the one thing I do know about cryptocurrencies is that it pumps when you least expect it. It's like, and all of a sudden it just like it can just go. And like by the time you realize, you're already too late. You went out for dinner, you came back, and Bitcoin popped 20%, and you're like, God damn it, So that's the thing. It's like for me, like at least it's like, look, like at these levels, I'm feel comfortable starting to increase my position. The risks are more balanced if I have to give Fed speak, right? So, that's what I see. another question that we got is this, right? So if right now, where is the money going, right? I don't like gold particularly. I hate the fact that everybody's like, we're in a market crisis, and gold is sitting at all-time highs with the S&P 500. And whenever there is a downturn, gold comes down as well. Oh no, it looks like a risk asset. But who am I to say? But again, like there is sort of like money moving. But the question is like we have this part of the segment, and I want to sort of pay attention. Keep it short, keep it brief. But what are you paying attention to right now? I like Mara. Mara got overpunished. Okay, I think I've been holding this name for way too long. So take whatever I say with a kilo of salt. But the crypto narrative and the AI narrative took a hit, and the stock dropped almost 50%. I think it's a gift, but we'll find out. What about you guys? I want to know. Who wants to start first? Put your hand up in the thingy. Who wants to go?
Timothy wants to lead.
Timothy's already showing stuff. But yeah, I don't know. I like Mara. Am I in love with it? Maybe. Is it too much? Maybe. Am I down on it? 100%. But God damn it, I like the stock. All right.
I would say Meta. Meta is the one I recently bought. It's an AI stock. It's using AI for ads
and the glasses.
And the glasses are awesome. No, but the earnings were really good. I think they also announced they won the antitrust this week. So that's also a win. In my view, it's the most undervalued Mac 7 stock. Mac 6.
Ooh, taking Tesla out of the picture.
I always ignore Tesla, sorry. But yeah, Meta is for me the one I'm having on my desk.
All right. Who wants to go next?
Mimi, go ahead.
Oh, okay. Well, not a whole lot aside from crypto, but if I'm thinking of like what piques my interest, it would be Tau, which is BitTensor. I think I mentioned that last time, which is essentially just decentralized AI. Another, not financial advice, but I've been looking into it. I think it's incredible, and I'm going to write an analysis on it. I think Toby wrote an analysis on it, but I'll present my own thesis. So Tau, and then other than that, just waiting for Ethereum to do its thing, to kick off the party.
I have a feeling it will. I'm increasing my Ethereum position. Not gonna lie. Dimitris, tell me.
So for me, it's not AI because I'm already so much into Google and Microsoft and AMD and Nvidia. So it's out of the question to buy anything here. It's just nonsense, right? Crypto, I'm not so comfortable because I'm not into Bitcoin. I'm into alts, and they haven't been so nice so far this year. So I'm not thinking increasing my positions going forward, especially like with 6 weeks to the end of the year. But within my contrarian style, trying to find what is overlooked, at this time, it's not AI that's overlooked. Everyone is looking at AI, and everyone is looking to Bitcoin, trying to find a good entry point, right? So for me, it's like the all boring stuff, which, by the way, I got a notification on Bloomberg just like half an hour before we went live, and I was like, so Walmart wants to switch from the New York Stock Exchange to the NASDAQ.
It's a tech valuation. It's a tech valuation right now because it sells stuff on the internet, so it's worth more than Amazon. Yes, I'm going to continue to hate on Walmart, and even though I own it, I love the company and I love the stock. Yeah. But Costco is finally down from 900, which thank God, we're getting some relief there. It's like, where's the bubble? In defensives. We've been in defensives for the last 3 years. I don't know. Okay, Dimitris, go. Sorry. You touch a nerve.
I'm looking defensive in the healthcare and some of the pharmaceuticals. Novo, it's one that I own, and it's been. I think it found the bottom. So yeah, so stuff like that. I'm not looking to tech.
So healthcare,
pharmaceuticals, maybe some consumer staples. Walmart, BJ's, the one I share with you, Nestor. BJ's
is looking better.
It's looking so good. It's like a buy you pick up. So yeah, at this time, this is what I'm looking. Tech at this time of the year is just out of the question.
So let me ask you this, because we have a question and then we'll get Adrian's thought on what's on his desk. But Dimitris, is it a good
Yes.
time to invest in the DAO?
It's never a
Now?
good time to invest in the DAO.
Yeah,
Never a good time to invest. Like when companies going to the DAO, they are already like dead. Nvidia, you know what? The DAO is moving this year because of Nvidia.
pump it.
Without Nvidia, the DAO will be flat.
It do be true. It do be true. Okay, tell me, Adrian, what's on your desk? What are you paying attention to right now? What's the thing that's
Oh,
like
boy.
piquing your interest?
This one's not gonna be popular, but I'm actually been looking at shorting MicroStrategy for basically the past month and a half. I've been doing that. So if you want to pull up that chart, that'll be just look at how annihilated it has gotten. I've been calling ever since we broke below 300, just shorting it every week. You know, push it out 2 weeks. I think it is getting close to a potential bottom, but I do think it may potentially go all the way down to 160. But this one it has been just so easy over the past couple months. Just shorted, and Nancy's printing money easily.
Wow, strategy.
I added strategy to my portfolio.
Wow, we have the Bulls and the Bears here today, ladies and gentlemen. That's the
Legit
reason.
bulls and bears.
Yeah. That's the reason you gotta follow the market buzz. We give you whatever we are thinking, whether it's right or wrong. We're gonna figure it out. Only the time will tell. But again, we're here to learn. We're here to work together to try to figure out what's the best way to take on markets, because it's not an easy path. We figured that out in the last couple of weeks, and it hasn't even been crazy. You know, because the thing is just like many people are scared. But if you put the S&P 500, we're still at all-time highs. You know, it's like we've come down a couple of points, but there's just been like specific names that are really getting hurt. The Palantirs, the CoreWeaves in AI, right? Which are names that I think that there is definitely froth in the market, but there's also value being presented, right? So something we got to pay attention to. We're trying to figure that out. We're trying to work together. This is not financial advice. This is our own strategies that we're implemented in our own portfolios. By the way, don't forget to hit that like and subscribe. Check out the portfolios down below. See if you like them, and see if you copy them. So we're going to try to get Adrian into the Etoro program, because he potentially, when they open copy trading in the States, which Yoni, if you're listening, open it already. You know, like let the people in. They want to come in. So let's get that done. Because I swear, I have so many clients in the States. I want them to come into Etoro. So yes. Anything else you guys want to talk about? We have a little question here from Andrew. Thoughts on FET?
Okay. From the tremendous.
Nestor, can you put me in the background? I have to run.
Sounds good. Yes. Have a good one, Timothy. Nice chatting.
Bye.
Anything else you want to say? No. Peace.
Love.
Peace and love. Happy trading, everybody. All right.
Fetch AI has had a lot of issues. People who are following Fetch know that Ocean Protocol left the project. Look, Fetch was my second biggest position, and I de-risked from it when it was having issues, and I think a lot of investors did as well. I don't know, and I think that Tau is potentially going to take over the AI narrative. That's why Tau did really well, because Fetch had a lot of issues. So my take on it, now that Nvidia is doing well, Fetch maybe, but I'm not too sure. I need to look into that a little bit more. I still have Fetch. I still believe in it, but yeah, there are some dramas there. And even with Nvidia, Nvidia results, I don't think it's really going to save Fetch. It really depends on how it's run, how the progress is going. That's really it. Great concept though. Yeah.
The thing is what's the concept, if you have
autonomous
to say?
AI agents, yeah. But I think people don't understand it enough, so therefore there's not a flood of. But the concept is incredible. Like I've loved Fetch for a very long time.
Like for me, well, the thing is even with my Nvidia thesis, my thesis is that we're going to need compute regardless, and we got those answers from all of the big CEOs. It's like, even if AI doesn't work out the way that we want, we still need the build out for the compute of our networks, right? And this is like where cryptocurrencies is super interesting as well, because I've always been in the idea. The reason I like Mara so much is because it's like where crypto mining and compute meet AI, right? So it's a way for them to kind of come together. I think they have 1.1 gigawatts of energy already in all of their data centers. So it would just be a matter of like, if Blackwell is the way to go, just like using those, like just changing in these chips and putting in those if that's what you need. But they're going for the inference side because they also want to mine crypto. But the thing is just like, for me, it's always been the value of the network, right? So the value of the network, what the amount of compute that you have, you're able to run things, and you're finally seeing a place to spend this. So it's like, I just don't see that story ending anytime soon when it comes to like compute. And NVIDIA showed that. NVIDIA shows that the amount of compute that the world needs right now, it's higher than we are all expecting it to be. Like, we're seeing earnings per share rise. We are seeing revenue, like the rate of the revenue increase, all of that stuff, you know? So it's like, we're just continuing to see at least that development. A couple of the rumors I wanted to just like leave with you guys for the next couple of times. So the Japanese yen is kind of increase, like sort of getting devalued. The US dollar has been coming up, which could affect next earnings season if we continue to see like a sustained rally in the dollar. The treasuries, actually, it was super interesting, the fact that the treasury yields increased as sort of this uncertainty started happening. So we are seeing people take money out of what's perceived as safety in treasuries and put it in the dollar, which is like, what that could happen, I'm not really sure. Which we've just seen a rally there. Yeah, I mean, it's been super. But yeah, the Japanese thing, because I know that at this levels, I think we're at 157 to the dollar, and I know that at this levels, the Japan Central Bank likes to act and likes to start making changes, right? So the question will be, what will happen? Dimitris, I saw you.
The Japanese haven't seen those rates like for 30 years.
So, I know. But we're starting to see things crack. We're starting to see, and when Japan changes, this, like, the money printer in Japan has been on.
Yeah,
the whole time.
And because most of the Japanese investors that don't even bother investing in Japan, they send them overseas and they buy treasuries, and stopping that or slowing down, or in the worst case scenario, like try to repatriate that money, that will have like consequences for the market. But that's not what worries me at this time, is the labor market. But let me share one more thought with you guys about the crypto and the AI connection. So you guys are like way deep into crypto and to AI and all that. But the average guy, the average speculator, okay, that only cares to make 10% on a trade, does not care about fundamentals whatsoever. At least the people I know are Tesla, NVIDIA, Palantir, Bitcoin, Ethereum, Solana, Avalanche. So all those, they go together. This is like the basket of the modern speculator, right? And I don't know what the correlation is between the assets going up or down. Why don't you look that up? Why don't you look?
What?
There was a correlation between NVIDIA, Palantir, and the top cryptos.
It's kind of, yeah, it's up, right? Like I think Bitcoin is correlated to the TQs, right?
Yes.
Which actually, I'm looking. I think they did a split. I think the TQs just had a split.
But the equities, they behave based on earnings. So, and NVIDIA had a decent earnings call, and the stock is going to go up.
Decent, you say? It was nuts.
Yeah, but we have to compare it with what happened before. I remember earnings like a year ago, like beating by 20%. That wasn't that. Let's not kidding you, okay?
But it's starting to grow. We're going up.
Yes, I agree with you. It was good, but it wasn't spectacular.
It was spectacular. It was spectacular. If it was good, we would feel it today. It was like it beat my expectations, and I am bullish on the stock. Like, okay. It's like.
So my point is, those equities and cryptos, I'm talking about the big boys in cryptos, are most likely correlated. Listen, nobody's looking like you guys, looking into cycles and technicals and all that. I mean, let's just be honest. Nobody does that, right?
Retail is, do I buy now to pump?
Yes. When Lambo.
Yes,
this is what it is. Let's not pretend that we all look into fundamentals and technicals, because most people aren't. So I think they're correlated, and I think as long the AI story has some legs and the labor market doesn't fall apart, I think crypto has a room to run. I wouldn't
Yeah.
give those crazy targets that, like some people do, but I'm optimistic in the short term. That was
Yeah.
my thought.
Okay.
Yeah.
Adrian, you have your hand up. Yo,
Yeah, I
we
just
used the
wanna-
hand up system, by the way. But yes.
throw out a question for the group here. So we've seen basically equities just kind of take a little bit of a correction over the past month or so. Now we might potentially. Well, one thing that I was sharing with Nestor the other day, I do think that the Nvidia earnings were essentially the inflection point for the market to reverse. My base case equities, that is equities. My base case is that we might still see a little bit of fear going into that Fed decision. We do get the cut, and then after that, we pump hard into the end of the year and continue the equities bull run. But I want to get your opinion from this group.
Opinion of the equities market?
Equities, yeah.
Okay.
Where
I
does that-
think, okay, look, I think like we just went through a time where people weren't putting money in the 401ks and their tax-free tax accounts, and the rest of the world is hurt, is the truth, right? Like if you look at the UK economy, Europe, even Japan, they're hurting, right? So it's like we have to see the Americans do well for the rest of the world to start picking up. And this tariff uncertainty and all this stuff, we've sort of like left it behind, but it's still, because it's like we're still sort of seeing the, oh yeah, we're not going to do that, and like we don't really know, right? It's like we don't have that clarity. But with the government shutdown, like our expectations for the government shutdown was like, okay, if it's quick, no problem. But the fact that it lasted so long, that I think the government's balance sheet is massive right now. It's like they have so much money on their books because they have to get rid of it now. Like they are actually over their level. So this is stimulation that's going to happen, and I think we're going to see that go into equities. The one thing that we've been talking about a lot, and I'll let Dimitris talk about this a little bit, is the fact that potentially, because people have made so much money, and it's like we're a little bit of the degens, which is like, look, to the moon, fuck it, I'll hold it until the end of time. But hedge funds are not like that, right? If a hedge fund is making 50% on Nvidia, they're going to sell it by the end of the year, right? So this has been rebalancing. We've seen that rebalancing come into play, and now we're seeing and then the big question will happen: what happens January 1st, January 2nd, when you have to pay taxes, and that gives you a year of capital, right? So we could see a dip going into January. At least that's what me and Dimitris are sort of in. But I think it's a buying opportunity for the rest of the year. I'm bullish for 2026. Like I'm bullish. It's like,
Yeah.
like I'm bullish. Like it's like, yo. By the way, I'm doing an episode on the bear and bull scale because we all need to be on the same page when we talk about the bear and bull scale, and then we're gonna have like pictures. I have an idea. So just to give you an idea. But yeah, I'm bullish. I'm bullish in equities, and I think right now we rally from here. We've just like the market has been looking for an excuse to sell at all-time highs because everybody's making so much money. Like we're looking for an excuse to be upset, right? And it's like, we found it. You know what I mean? We found it. The government shutdown was one of them. But I don't think it's that big of a deal as we start to recover and go into the end of the year. Now, Trump can always come in and fuck it up. It's part of the Trump card, right? So, Dimitris, any thoughts on this?
So I agree with Adrian that it's going to be some fear leading into the FOMC because everyone is taking like the Fed minutes and all the presidents that go on TV and they say one thing and sometimes they mean another. But nobody's going to tell you like 6 weeks ahead of the FOMC that we're getting another cut. I mean, what are we, children, right? They're going to keep it secret and they're going to go into the FOMC meeting and probably going to leak it like the day before or a couple of days. That's how things been working like forever. So, and the Fed minutes yesterday, I mean, it was at a time that it was like a different world, like when the FOMC happened and the Fed minutes were recorded. So we have to put that into context when you're trying to get a piece of information and make a decision. But I think we're going to have a strong end of the year, unless something happens with the labor market, which we're going to get in the next piece of data we're going to get in the next couple of months. As far to say that I'm bullish into 2026, I wouldn't go that far. I want to take it
day by day, month by month.
but month by
Data
month.
dependent.
I want to see the January. I want to see the month of January because a lot of people they're going to sell into the next year, so they have to pay taxes next year. Okay, and that will probably coincide with some of the labor weakness.
Yeah.
because
It's going to be rebalancing. Yeah.
at some point we're going to get a recession, right? And I'm not saying it's coming, but we've been avoiding a recession like for a long time, and too many things are happening. This is the end of the cutting cycle, and that suggests usually the end of the business cycle. So yeah, too many things are happening, but I'm bullish until the end of the year. But next year I want to see how the whole setup happens. And I think we're getting 3 cuts this year, which I said at the beginning of the year. So I think that the December cut is happening, and that will make it 3 cuts for the year.
Mimi. Yeah, I want to know. Sorry, Mimi. Sorry,
because Adrian needs to leave in 5 minutes, and maybe he can finish off, and then I'll speak. Adrian?
Yeah, no, I agree with the Demetrius, and yeah, 2026. I think it is bullish the first half, but we definitely see some sort of correction. Whether that's a bear market, maybe, but it's too far out to start speculating about 2026 at this point.
Okay, what are you gonna say, Nestor?
I was gonna say that I didn't want no cuts this year. I didn't want no cuts. I was like freaking like let it burn, let it burn. Show me who has the money. Show me who has the power. I want to know. I want to see. Like I didn't want any cuts. So the fact that we're getting cuts, I'm more than happy. Okay, Mimi, go. We'll go quick. So yo, Adrian, by the way, just to let you know, I'm gonna put you in the background. Can you leave the tab open?
Yeah.
Awesome. But let me know when you're leaving. Or you're leaving now? Now?
No.
All right. Peace.
Bye. Thank you.
Okay, Mimi, go.
I'm on the same page as you, Nestor. I know that we've had like a lot of conversations about it as well, and how we're feeling. And even like before Nvidia yesterday, I'm just like, are we delusional that like it feels like everything's going to be okay? You know that Nvidia's going to do well, and it's not going to be an AI bubble. It's going to confirm likely there's not going to be an AI bubble. But anyway, I'm bullish. I'm a lot more bullish now going into 2026 for equities, and then obviously crypto. To just really sum up everything, because I am always like really super bigger picture. I don't think that, I said this, I'll keep saying, I don't think people really see that this is a new era for humanity. It is it's just a whole new chapter, like just industrialrevolution.com, everything, the internet. It's going to change the way we live. And I just think that the markets are going to be a lot more bullish for a lot longer than we actually anticipate. Again, though, nothing is predictive. We present our thesis with the information that we get as it comes through, and that's the thing I want to tell like all the critics as well. Like, look, I'm doing my very best, okay, to present the data that I see, and then my thesis, my analyses. But I we're not gurus. None of us are. But technical analysis, fundamental psychology, anything data that comes out, it's all just reactive. We pivot, we react based on the information that we're given. But in terms of forecast, what do I see? That's my base case in terms of how I see 2026 for equities and crypto.
Man, I swear, it's like one of the things that Jensen said yesterday on the call, right? Was that like, so one of the freakouts in the markets and in the AI space is that now we're entering, like now it's not cash flows, now it's debt, right? So it's like, this is one of the big scares that are in the markets. And I'm like, okay, cool, right? Like, but usually when you buy the car, you don't not pay for the car. You know what I mean? It's like, that's later down the line. If something happens and something breaks and XYZ. So it's like, we're just starting. Like even JP Morgan, they had a report yesterday and it's like, we're just starting to see the debts go in. These big players have been spending their cash flow money. They still have piles of cash to play with, right? And the funny thing was like, we were going in cash flow when it was like, oh, we're getting some cool chat bots, we're getting some improvements. But right now with agentic, like the new build out is based on the agentic AI that we're seeing and how it's getting implemented in these businesses. We still don't know. One of the questions that they asked Jensen was like, okay, like what are the new applications that you're seeing? Is like, I said this in the podcast yesterday, but it's the same. It's like, I asked ChatGPT, I was like, how much do you remember from the conversations that we have? And it was like, ChatGPT said around 200,000 tokens. And I was like, okay, like based on normal usage, how much is that? And it was like, well, that's about 2 weeks of conversation. Okay. Zuckerberg wants to remember 3 years of context. We're going into context. We're going into development. So I just don't see this happening. Like, and again, everybody's an AI investor. If you own the S&P 500, you're an AI investor. And right now, I just think that the world is realizing that this is the place to be. And I just don't see this, like, this is not the same as the 2000s bubble, Why? Because this companies actually make money. This is not a pets.com, right?
Yes. We have to see the unprofitable tech being a bubble. The AI tech is expensive. Let's call it expensive, right? Expensive,
Yeah.
I agree with. But we have to see, I mean, do you remember in 2021, you had like those companies that made no money and they were like, buy you like 400 times?
Well, we haven't seen the IPOs, right? We haven't seen the new companies that it's like, oh, look, I'm a chatbot rapper. Like, you know, it's like, and like, I want to be valued at $500 million. No. OpenAI is innovating at a rate we've never seen before. Perplexity is innovating at a rate we've never seen before. Claude is like XAI is open. Like we are seeing magic happen in front of our eyes.
Only some parts of the market, the Palantir, the Teslas, are like difficult for some investors to swallow. And you know, the Palantir, you can make it and to look good. Whatever you say about it, I don't know what exactly they do, but whatever they do, it doesn't worth like 500 times.
The thing is it's not. But the thing is we are early in this company, and like the growth, like this company is growing quite sharply, and like the thing is just like the thing is just like, look, if it was like random person telling me this, but it's like it's people that it's like, yo, I put it in my business, and like they just grabbed all the data. We didn't have to do much. It just grabbed all the data that we had, and it just made my business better.
Yeah, but at the same time, you can't just expect to go to 100 trillion because NVIDIA is 5 trillion and it has like 50 billion in revenue, and Palantir has 1 billion or whatever the number is, 2 billion.
No, it's the truth.
So you have to put it into.
I think it's expensive. I think it's expensive. Like I don't own it particularly, but man, like if you know, it's like it's been a company that the story has like they're beating expectations, they're growing revenues. So I definitely want to keep my eye on them, you know, and maybe if there's an opportunity to get in at a decent price, I'm down to get in because we just don't know that end rate, that growth rate at the end of the curve, right? Like the DCF doesn't make sense right now because it's like we just don't know. So making that prediction makes it really difficult. But I mean, Palantir is finding a footing. Did you know that Palantir doesn't use NVIDIA chips? I think they just talked about a partnership in their earnings, and like in the last couple of weeks they mentioned that.
What are they using?
Yeah,
I
think it's just like old data centers. So it's like we're gonna see what they're able to build together if the supercomputer go. It's insane.
Interesting.
So this is gonna be like they're building a supercomputer with Palantir. So this is gonna be very interesting to see what happens. Like I'm super excited.
Yeah.
Like I used to be like we got the NVIDIA earnings and I'm bullish. Like I'm bullish, you know. Could we come down? Sure. It's always a possibility, but buyers are coming into this market. Is my thoughts. My thoughts.
It's difficult to grasp what life is going to look like for all of us in the next 5 to 10 years, right? But that's because again, it was difficult to understand how we've not been able to live without the internet. We didn't have the internet before. We're sending snail mail, and you know, no one had iPhones, and you would hang out with your friends and you'd be talking to each other, and you know, life was so different, and everything changed. And I think we're stepping into another era that we don't know what that's going to look like. But rather than being, that's, you know, we're going to lose our jobs. No, it's actually going to make us more productive. We just simply are just going to evolve as humans. And jobs are going to look different. Jobs are going to look different. Education is going to look different. The you know, our children's children, whatever, our children, you know, they're going to go to school and there's already different subjects. There's already AI subjects, you know. Life is going to look different. We will evolve and adapt no matter what. But this is technology on another scale, and we're just going to be even better and function even better than we ever have. That's what I see, and that's where I want to invest in the future. I mean, now I invest in the future now.
Anything else you guys want to say before we cut it off here? It's been an hour. I know, like the market needed this. We got some really good news yesterday.
Wow.
Like you saw, it's like it's 1 hour. Like we definitely needed this. I think the market has been sort of like looking like for answers, and we're starting to get answers, and they're not as bad. You know, it's like we got a B-, and that's okay. You know, it's like so. American economy continues to boom. It'll be interesting to see how the market behaves today. But anything else you guys want to add?
No.
That will be it.
All right. Thanks so much for watching, everybody. Don't forget to hit that like and subscribe. If you made it this far, thank you so much. You're the real MVPs. Wow, man. I'm like, yesterday's live stream, you could hear,
Oh,
you could feel my stress. All right. Thanks so much for watching.